Hi, today I am making some nut milks and I'm making them a couple of different ways to show you that it can be really quick and easy, or you can make it and still have something else left over, or you can even add some different flavorings to make some special milks or special drinks just from a few ingredients. So the first thing I'm going to do is one of my favorite things when I used to drink coffee. My favorite creamer had coconut and almond in it, but it had a lot of other chemicals too. So I learned how to make this creamer without it. So now I like to just drink it plain. You could add it to tea or things like that. But I'm going to make a large batch. So this is the more complicated way, and you'll see it really isn't complicated at all. So first I have a quart jar of water. I'm going to pour it into the Vitamix. It's easier if you have a high-speed blender. If you don't, you just may have to do it in batches. So here is half a cup of almonds that I soaked and are rinsed really well. So you want to soak them to make them soft for the blender, but also whenever you have nuts and seeds, you want to soak them to activate them. It removes any enzyme inhibitors, which keeps you from absorbing the nutrients. So some people will shell them or take them out of the skins, skin them, how do you say that? And it's not that hard to do. It doesn't bother me to have the skins. So I'm going to pour them in. So that was a half a cup, and then I'm going to add a half a cup of coconut. Now when you buy, you could use fresh coconut. When I buy coconut, so you can see these are coconut flakes. Look how beautiful, white, and crisp they are. You can hear how crisp they are. They taste like candy. I want a half a cup of these. But you want to make sure it says unsweetened, and you want to also look at your ingredients and make sure it's unsweetened coconut. That's it. Nothing else. And so I found a couple of different brands. So to my quart jar, I have 1 cup of almonds and coconut combined. So for a quart jar, you want 1 cup of nuts and seeds, whatever you want to use. I just happen to like coconut and almonds. I could do just almonds. I could even do oats. Now, when you buy oats, make sure they are organic, because I spray them to harvest them, and make sure that they say gluten-free, especially if you have any of the HLA genes. So in here I have the quart jar, the half a cup of soaked, rinsed almonds, and half a cup of coconut flakes. Now that's all I need. If I want to make like a chai flavoring, I could add some grated ginger, and maybe some cardamom, some cinnamon, maybe a little bit of nutmeg, any of those flavorings, and make it chai flavored. If I want it sweetened, I could add something like a monk fruit, powdered monk fruit. See, it is brown. It is not processed and white. Or a stevia extract, or even the stevia leaves. I do actually buy the stevia leaves. Some people grow stevia in their yard. Make sure it's the whole plant, not the white processed stuff. That is not healthy. The whole food even contains vitamins and minerals, right? So that's all I have. The water and the coconut and the almonds. So I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to process it for about a minute because I want it really pureed. Okay, if I did not have a high-speed blender, I would probably start with 1 cup of water with 1 cup of nuts and seeds and whatever, and then slowly add the rest of the water just to make sure it gets really nice and well blended. All right, so I'm going to put it back into that jar of water that I had. I'm going to be using a funnel just to make it a little bit cleaner, and a strainer, and then I'm even going to be using some cheesecloth on top. So like I said, I'm making it as complicated as it gets. Just so you can see, it doesn't have to be this complicated. You don't even have to strain it if you don't mind having chunks in your drink. I do, especially because sometimes they can like tickle the back of your throat. So I'm just going to pour it back through. You can see the beautiful foam on top. Uh-oh, I wasn't paying attention. Pay attention when you're pouring. But you can see it's going to go through. It's going to go through kind of slow because I'm going through a couple of different filters here. I have the cloth filter, and then I also have the strainer as well. I'm going to let it sit, and I'm going to clean up. Okay, when I said I was going to make the most complicated version, I guess I'm really not. The most complicated would be if I forgot the lid. But you can see if you aren't careful, it is going to make a mess. You can see the foam on top. How cool is that? That'd be really pretty on top of a hot beverage, right? All right, so let me pour some more in. It is going to go slow because I'm double filtering here. I want a nice, smooth milk. So while that does its thing, let's go on to our next one. So for the next one, I'm only making 1 cup of milk, but I want to show you how quick and easy this is. So it can be super simple making a nut milk at home, even a creamer like the almond and coconut. So I'm going to pour in my 1 cup of water. All right, to my 1 cup of water, I need to add 1 cup of nut or seed butter. If you can't do nuts, you could use sun butter to make your own, or something like that. So I'm going to be using a 1/2 tablespoon. This is a full tablespoon. I'm going to put in a 1/2 tablespoon of almond butter and a 1/2 tablespoon of coconut butter. Did you even know coconut butter existed? I absolutely love it. It tastes like candy. Mine's Artisana raw coconut butter. It smells so good. It is delicious. Anyway, so when you want to make a really quick, almost instant milk, I was using that word loosely, nut or plant-based milk, 1 tablespoon of nut butter or seed butter to 1 cup of water. So I'm making the almond coconut. So I have a 1/2 tablespoon of coconut and a 1/2 tablespoon of almond. But I love chocolate milk. So I'm going to be adding a tablespoon of cocoa. And I have a little scoop that comes with the monk fruit. This cute little scoop. So I think this is a 1/4 teaspoon of monk fruit. That's going to make it sweet. You can see the brown powder on my fingers. It is not white. It is not highly processed. And I'm going to add a tablespoon of cocoa. I couldn't find my tablespoon. Tablespoon of cocoa. And now I'm going to make chocolate milk. This one, I don't even have to strain. It's that super easy. Okay, so when I decided to give up coffee, I realized it wasn't the coffee that I always wanted every day. It was the milk. Before I went plant-based, I was a huge chocolate milk drinker. And I just love this. But you can see I did not even need to strain it. Here is my wonderful chocolate milk that I can put in drinks or teas, or a coffee substitute. Maybe a mushroom coffee. Mmm, so good. All right, so now I'm going to finish up our regular coconut almond creamer. See if I can get it poured in. It's still so full. Now with the pulp, I'm going to put the pulp in my jars for tomorrow's breakfast. So I can make, I don't eat oats, but my husband does, but I can make overnight oats. I can make chia pudding, something like that, and I will just be adding this coconut and almond mix to it. Now, if you have a lot of inflammation, maybe you're dealing with some sort of chronic illness, maybe you have muscle or joint pain, then you want to look at your omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. You can even have doctors check that for you. So almonds are very high in omega-6s, and it's okay to have omega-6s, but you want to have closer to a 4-to-1 ratio than the typical American, which has 20-to-1. And so almonds can actually push that ratio in the wrong direction. So you don't want to drink too much almond milk or have too much almond butter or too many almonds without balancing that out with something that's more omega-3. So maybe making a milk with walnuts or something like that would be better. I love a hemp seed milk. That's another one that I like to add. It adds a lot of protein to it, and it also makes it nice and creamy. So because I have a whole cup of coconut and almonds, I'm going to actually put this into 4 containers for breakfast, the pulp. But all I have to do is I can add some chia seeds to this, add some of the milk to it, and then add some berries, and there we go, I have breakfast. All right, so here we have our cashew almond milk and our sweetened, I'll use that word loosely because I made it with the monk fruit chocolate milk. I'm gonna make sure the lids are on good. Here's my chocolate milk and my almond milk, made the more difficult way through the strainer or using nut butter. Both are, you can see, fairly quick and easy. It took me maybe 10 minutes to make both. What a great way to make your own plant-based milk without any other chemicals. I know exactly what's in there. There's no gums or fillers. I can flavor it the way I want to safely. Anyway, I hope that you like this recipe. Let me know in the comments if you made it, if you made a different version, what flavors you like to add. Hit subscribe and please share with your friends. Enjoy!